cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Merry Christmas, folks. Sunday, December 22nd, 2024. Welcome back to the program. Wherever you find yourself around the world, whether it's here in the United States, in our friends to the north in Canada. We don't have any viewers in Mexico that I'm aware of, but we do have viewers occasionally in Chile who tune in Argentina because of the rugby. And to those in Europe, Ireland, the British Isles, Europe, Germany, Finland, Lori Lettinen, and all around Europe, as well as we got folks in Switzerland who watch us, as well as a couple in Italy. And thanks to all those in Africa, particularly in South Africa and Botswana, who tune into the program regularly, especially in South Africa, and those out down under in Australia and New Zealand. And we got a few folks, although we haven't seen the folks from China in quite a while, but welcome back to the program. It's 3 days before Christmas. Whether you follow the secular holiday of Christmas or you believe in the religious faith and holiday of Christmas, celebrating the birth of Christ, I recently heard of a school that was telling kids a true and false question in class, and they said, hey, so true or false, Jesus was born December 25th? Kids say, yes, true. And the teachers say, no, that's a lie. He's not born the 25th of December. You know, what a horrible thing to tell children, especially Christians. It doesn't matter what day of the year he was born. Time isn't relevant. The fact that we celebrate the birth of the Christ child each year on December 25th is what matters. My birthday happens to be December 25th. You know, it's a date that was picked by a Roman emperor, and that's the date we've gone with for 1,000 years or so. Anyway, so screw these clowns who are hating on Christmas and hating on Jesus. A bunch of jerk-offs. Anyway, people that need their attitudes adjusted. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Boy, my neck is really sore right here. This muscle right here, I pulled it or something. Really hurts just turning my head. So Hendo's here. We've got John Huchinen, George Steinberg, Dylan, Leah Menar's back. Hey, Leah, Merry Christmas to you. Alan Kotza, Richard Kuhn, Tony Nage, in from the oil sands province of Alberta. Dan says, away. I don't think he's saying all. I think he's saying away. And welcome to Arc Precision is here as well. John Huchinen from Arizona. Hey, John, how you doing today? And then Arthur Chokes popped up. And Arthur is in from the future, apparently, where things are going lovely. Hendo, I already said hello to you. And Meerkat, welcome back. Renant, Colonel, and everyone. Kefis, come. Yes, Christmas is coming. Allison Johnson is here. Grotopia is back. Good to see you again there from UK. There from London. Welcome in. Don't like the mega-rich. Poverty is a solvable wealth distribution problem. Not at all, Arthur. That's a socialist position. Poverty will never be solved. Anyone who thinks poverty can actually be solved doesn't understand the human condition. It is human nature to do things counterproductive for your best interest. Some people always act against their interest and as a consequence make poor decisions. There are people living in poverty, children growing up in poverty because their parents are gamblers. There are people living in poverty because they have lazy parents. There are people living in poverty because they have dishonest parents. There are people living in poverty because of unfortunate circumstances. There are lots of reasons for poverty. It will always exist. It will never go away. It never disappeared in the Soviet Union. It never disappeared in communist China. And it has only been ameliorated in China because of free market mechanisms mixed in with their control economy. It is a foolhardy, foolish notion to believe the leftist nonsense and propaganda that poverty can be solved. The Jeffrey Sachs of the world are people who do not need to be listened to, but he's famous and he's wealthy and published over and over again for his idiotic ideas. If we all just gave $2 a day, poverty would be alleviated. No, it wouldn't, dingbat. It wouldn't be eliminated at all there, dingbat Jeffrey Sachs. You don't know what you're talking about, and it's just a dumb proposition. People do things against their best interests. I see it all the time, all over the world. Paulie's here. Welcome, Paulie. Brains behind the operation. William Feinderveld, it's been a while. How you doing there? And Ron is in from Bloemfontein. Wow, people coming in today. Thanks for being with us. William Peters, good to see you again. And in the UK, the word Christmas is removed from most things. I know, I've seen it, Crocotopia. UK is gone. UK, Ireland's even worse. It's completely gone. It's been surrendered to criminals and invaders. It's not Irish anymore. The same thing is happening to the UK. In a rapid pace, Germany, it's happening. And Germans are wondering why that there's someone that drove into a Christkindl mark. Number one, because the people who run it are morons. Why in the world are not bollards installed so that cars can't enter the Christkindl mark? What kind of dipshits run these events? I mean, we've seen this before in Berlin. People were killed a few years ago, and they've done nothing to improve the situation because the German authorities are woke scumbags who believe in giving up their country. They think it's okay for their daughters to be raped or groped at the Hallenbad and the Schwimmbad. They think it's okay because the girls were scantily dressed in a one-piece bathing suit. I don't think that's scantily dressed. I think the scumbags who are groping them are rapists and perverts who should be kicked out of the country, never should have been allowed in. I think Angela Merkel should be tried for crimes against humanity, against the German people. She is a scumbag, and all of her administration and the subsequent ones since then. Olaf Scholz should be lined up and taken to court as well. Unbelievable. What does it matter? The fact when he was born, the fact he was born is more than we just. Okay. I think I'll follow your advice, says Dylan. Give me power and I will solve poverty if they like it or not. No, you'll just make other people miserable. See, when you do that and you take things away, did your card arrive? No, Courtney, I've not gotten your card yet. I'm sorry. It has not arrived. At least it wasn't there as of Friday when I collected my mail. Saw more footage of guy directing traffic after Sharks game than the game itself. Really? That's interesting, Debbie. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So, hey, Arctic, how's it going? $2. Thank you for the super chat, Courtney. Yep. This is a strange month. So, by the way, I think I mentioned this the other day. I'm going to start doing this. It's just easier for people to put it up that way. But, I really need to just have a button for this so that it comes up all the time. Where's it at there? Oh, it's not in that folder. Look, let's get us all in the right mood, okay? Let's get us in the right mood because this is just too funny. Oh, where's it at? Come on, quit hiding on me there. Yeah, there it is. Here you go. Okay, so, kids say the darndest things.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
That will never get old. I'm sorry. I played a million times. That will stop. The child is so adorable. It's just so funny. So funny. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for here. I guess it's not going to work very well. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Oh, my goodness. By the way, Ronaldo sent you over here. If you're inclined to help him in his legal fund, there is some information if you're trying to help Ronaldo. Feel free to do that. Okay? Yep, there it is. I finally found what I was looking for. The butthole used emergency opening for ambulances to gain access. Ah, okay. Well, those bollards should not be available like that. So there you go. That's it. They take a much smaller percentage of the fee. So I've been accused of e-begging by somebody who blew up their channel a few times and has some sort of demented obsession with me. But I'll put it up there. So if you want to help out there, you're welcome to send something to Outlook to that address. That's the PayPal. There you go. Chris Wyatt Africa. PayPal. Right. So William says the whole signing of the Bella Act debacle ignited my uniquely strong sense of indignation on my part. I still can't believe how treacherously the DA behaved. Well, you can, and I've told you how they're going to behave. It's one reason why I won't get interviews with the DA. I have interviews with some of their politicians, but the bigwigs never give interviews to me. They make promises, and they don't fulfill them. And then they have thin skins like John Steenhuisen, even though I defend the guy when people attack him all the time. So it's just kind of silly because I believe in facts, not, hyperbole. So leave it at USPS to fail at his job. Listen to Courtney, he works for USPS. It's funny. Arctic says it's freezing in New York. Whereabouts in New York? In the city or somewhere in the state? It is 23 degrees Fahrenheit here. Perfect shorts weather. Later today, after I finish writing my articles, I'm writing an article about the Bella Bill right now, and I'll just give you a little taste of it, okay? It's about 2 pages long, 600 words so far, but basically it's called Bella. It's worse than you think. The Basic Education Laws Amendment law hands near total control over education to government officials, many seldom chosen by voters to represent them under South Africa's undemocratic electoral system. President Ramaphosa's decision for full implementation of Bella allows politicians selected by political parties, not voters, to decide who enters which school, what language they must be taught, while also using the law to criminalize parents, especially black ones, for truant children, while also abolishing corporal punishment. These actions are now the purview of politicians, not parents or their school boards. And that is the start of my article, which I will submit to what is the one? I'm drawing a blank here. Not Dear SA, but what's the other one? I always get the articles. Anyway, I'll be writing that article, get it published in, and also writing another article about drones, hopefully for a local paper. So, yep. First time for me seeing it's fun. Are you serious, William? Wow, I've shown that video like 1,000 times on my broadcast. So let's get that up. There's a super chat from Courtney. I'm going to NHL match. Which game are you going to there? It's the Utah versus who? I want to come out and see Utah hockey really badly. True story. Let me get the e-begging thing off there before, it puts someone into convulsions there. So there we go. It's off. All right. DA are leftists. They can't be trusted, Awkwardly on says. Yep. The DA have lost all legitimacy as DNU is a mere smokescreen. Well, William, that's what I've been saying. The DA, there's people like once the DA got into the GNU, they're not going to go. They're not going to go. People, how long is it going to last? It's going to last because they are not going to go. They are desperate for craven political power, and they show it each and every day. The way that they handled the Ronaldo Jose event, the way that they handled the subsequent deputy mayor of George, this is just atrocious. They're undermining of mayoral agreements with the Freedom Front Plus. They've proven who they are. Crocotopia says DA turned out to be a bigger disappointment than the ANC. Yes, and the DA will see in the municipal elections of 2026, they will see a significant loss in their municipalities. They will lose more municipalities in Western Cape than they have previously, and they've already lost a few in this last election. They will be destroyed in Gauteng. People have had enough of their treachery. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just going to happen. The only way the DA survives is if they poach votes from the ANC, and they're not going to do that because the ANC and the media have successfully, fraudulently described them as a white party, and therefore racist, and South Africa will never vote for them. So they're stuck. They picked the path that was untenable. And it all started when the DA in KZN during municipal elections retracted their billboards because it hurt somebody's feelings. It showed what cowards they are. And that's where it all began to fall apart for them. Yes, the DA will bend over backwards and go against all their morals for the smallest bit of political power. Yep. Thing is, to whom will DA voters defect? Well, that's a good question, William van der Walt. The natural place for many DA voters to go would be the Freedom Front Plus. But the Freedom Front Plus is a right-of-center party, centrist right, and the DA is centrist left. So some of those people are uncomfortable going there. There is no leftist non-racial party in South Africa other than the DA. There is none. There's none. The ACDP is right-of-center. The Freedom Front Plus is right-of-center. There's nobody left-of-center. But I wouldn't encourage anybody to sign up with left-of-center political party. They betray people over and over again. So, yeah, there is no one. There might be a new party that pops up. Action SA is imploding because of the race hustling and the garbage being spewed by Herman Mashaba, who clearly has some axe to grind about racism. He's upset about it, but he's the one acting in a racist fashion. He needs to knock it off. It's really repulsive. It's not a good image for Action SA, and I can't imagine some of the senior people in that party are happy with his actions, and I won't mention who they are. But yeah. No, the Freedom Front Plus does not need to move to the left. They need to stay right where they're at. They're all saying useless, says Kurtz. Okay. Some voters may, yes, scientists, yeah, I wasn't finished. A number of colored voters, if Gate McKenzie continues to be successful at convincing the public that he's a real deal, a number of colored voters from the DA, and maybe even some white ones, will migrate, particularly in the Western Cape, towards the Patriotic Alliance. Patriotic Alliance could go to a 10% party in the next national elections, or certainly in the municipal elections, there'll be a 10% party in many jurisdictions for sure, if not larger. Some places they're going to get 30, 40%. Yep. William de Vrijheidsfront. Okay. The Western Cape may collapse under the strain of influx of people. It's becoming extremely expensive. It's also becoming extremely crowded. There's nowhere to go. It's nowhere to go except up in many places, so high rises. But the Western Cape, you can't put anything high rise in the Cape Flats. It's all sand. It used to be underwater 10,000 years ago or so. It was all underwater until the ice age sucked up all the water and they formed bigger glaciers in Antarctica and in the Arctic. Freedom Front Plus appeared to have voiced no objections to the bill either. Actually, they did. It came out today. They voiced some objections to the bill. There was something put out by the Freedom Front Plus. Yeah. Does the PA support Cape independence? Not to my knowledge, awkward, Leon. Not to my knowledge. DA voters are just going to pack their crap and leave the country. Yeah, some of them will. Yep. But a lot of them simply don't have the means to do it. Awkward says the colored DA voters would go to the PA. Some will, not all. But the PA is vaporware. The PA is a vanity party. It's a vanity project. MK is a vanity project. EFF is a vanity project. All three of those parties are vanity projects. When Gate McKenzie's gone, when Julius Malema's gone, when Jacob Zuma's gone, these parties don't exist. Uppington is 111 degrees. Really? Are you there? No, you're not there. You're in the UK. Ideally, South Africa needs to break up into smaller republics. I'd like to see the rise of the Volksstaat and return of the Orange Free State in Transvaal, says Courtney. I don't think that's feasible. The Free State couldn't survive on its own in the 21st century. The Western Cape could, KZN could, Gauteng could. The rest of them would struggle mightily. Oh, I'm sorry, awkwardly on Action SA is also a vanity project. I thought it had a chance to be a real party, but it's really become a vanity project for Herman Mashaba. Yeah, that's when a political party is based solely on a person, that's a problem. The National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany wasn't based on a person, but it became based on a person. That's when it became problematic. Yep. Yes, I'm going to talk about the earthquake here in a moment, so lots to talk about. All right, let's get to the Advents calendar. Today's the 22nd. I almost said 21st. There's the 22nd right down here at the bottom. So 3 days to Christmas, back there on my little fire truck. Okay, fire truck will come off here Christmas Day, these 0 days. Another one of those little kitties. I managed to eat all 9 of those pieces of chocolate last night. Imagine that. While I was sitting here playing Medieval. All right, 22nd. I'm going to try to get Hearts of Iron 3 to work on my new laptop because it's got Windows 11 instead of Windows 10. Maybe it'll work. This doesn't work on here. It crashes a lot. And there's a little teddy bear. Oh, y'all know I got a bunch of teddy bears. Collected teddy bears. So that's the oldie version. Let's get to the Lidl version. Oops, it fell over. Come here. Up. There we go. Woo, messed up the hair. All right, turn it the correct direction always helps. So get right side up. 23, 22. Here we go. It's real hard to read. And this one is, it looks like a duck. Get out of there. It is a duck. There you go. It's a duck. That's a penguin, not a duck. Sounds like a duck. All right, and the one that Charles Van Altzen likes, but he's not here tonight. 22nd. Earl Grey. Oh, Earl Grey honey black tea. That sounds good. Ooh, baby. That sounds really, really good. Cool beans. Right. All right. Okay. So Earl Grey honey black tea. That one sounds good. I might even try that one today. Why does it look? Oh, I got that one backwards. Something isn't right. There you go. Earl Grey honey black tea. All right. Yeah. In my rush to get that out. Courtney wants to know when the beard's going away. Very soon, Courtney. Very soon. Very soon. Very soon. I want to get a haircut before my birthday, so I look a little bit younger there. And also, but I really love the feel of my hair. It feels nice back here. South African Communist Party is still living in 1917. Yes, they are. And they think they're going to do one elections. A party with just 50,000 supporters is not going to go anywhere. As a Cape Townian, I wholeheartedly agree. Everywhere is full now. It's crazy. Spent 2 hours looking for parking. C pointed out. Yeah, exactly. William, there's too many damn people in the Western Cape. The only place to go is up. Not up in the sky, but up towards Fontaine, up that direction, Citrusdal. There's plenty of space up there, but there isn't much in the way of resources, water, or other things. So, yeah, I don't say immigration picking up much again anytime soon. Most DA voters are middle class and don't possess the means to leave. I think the vast majority of us South Africa are here. Yeah, you're stuck. That's bottom line. Yep, I think you're right about that. I don't think they'll be leaving. Irania is way too far into the culture. Dress up for functions, and you must attend specific churches. Well, they have standards. You have to be Dutch Reformed. You have to be an Afrikaans speaker. Yeah. So if you like that, then that's your cup of tea. Then that's the place for you to go. If you don't like it, then don't go there. Simple as that. I mean, I don't go out. If someone forced me to go to a religious institution, then I won't go. I'm selling my condo in Salt Lake next year. I want to move further out of the suburbs. Okay. Yeah, the burbs, big houses. I will be moving back to South Africa when it's time to retire, says Crocotopia. Okay, Crocotopia. You bring those British pounds, you probably live large. You live large. Hey, in case you missed it, there's a PayPal link. Stranger danger. What's that all about? Was this morning, Tony, a smaller one, Western Cape? What was that? What are you guys talking about? Oh, they talking about the earthquake. Hey, Charles, there you are. Just got out of the pool. Okay, well, it's summertime there. It's 23 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is about 6 or 7 Celsius below zero. All right, Northern Cape earthquake measures 5. That's a wrong lake there. 5.3 on the Richter scale, and a tremor was felt as far away as Cape Town. Look at this guy drawing on there again. He's cheating. That's not how it works. An earthquake with a magnitude of 5.3 on the Richter scale was recorded in the Northern Cape in the early hours today. The reported epicenter is located 100 kilometers west of Braunfley. in a depth of 10 kilometers below the Earth's surface. Felt as far away as Cape Town. Education Minister Siviwe Garuba says that there will be no tolerance for political abuse of the Bella Act. The whole Bella Act is political abuse, my dear Siviwe. Minister of Basic Education Siviwe Garuba has put her foot down and said she won't tolerate the weaponization of the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act for political means. Much has been said about this piece of legislation, and at times it has regrettably been used as a political football. You think? Speaking of using as a political football, listen to this comment from the ANC. We are aware of the anti-transformation pushback by forces opposed to change who are nostalgic of the apartheid past. Well, that's just racist. Racist. Transformation is code for racist, black supremacy. That's what transformation is. What needs to be transformed? What needs to be transformed is the ANC needs to stop being a kleptocratic bunch of thieves and spend the money that's been allocated for education on, I don't know, say, education. That's what needs to happen. The transformation needs to be quit destroying the lives of minority South Africans to promote people unqualified to be teachers who then prey on pubescent and prepubescent girls for sexual favors in order to give them grades. That's a start, ANC. The idea is that perhaps you build abolition units where children can actually use flush toilets. You've had 30 years to make flush toilets. You have 4,300 schools around the country where people use pit latrines. And we've had half a dozen cases of children in primary schools suffocating after falling into human feces. And somehow the problem is transformation and apartheid. You are scum-sucking dirtbags. We denounce baseless fear-mongering by those who oppose these progressive changes. Well, I oppose your racism and black supremacy, as I oppose white supremacy. You are fools, and you'll be called out for it. Seeking to entrench outdated language hierarchies. Really? Outdated language hierarchies. Less than 10% of schools in South Africa, public schools, have Afrikaans as the medium of instruction. What is outdated? That is lower than the percentage of South Africans who speak Afrikaans as a first language, which is 13% of the population. Yet only 10% of the schools, I don't know how many students they service, but 10% of the schools actually have Afrikaans as the medium. So how is that outdated? Your constitution guarantees the right of people in South Africa to be educated in their own language. Yet you deny it to Afrikaans speakers, the majority of whom are people of color, you scumbag racist in the ANC. And exclude the majority from education opportunities. The only people excluding the majority population for education opportunities is the thieving ANC. The thieving ANC. The only one excluding black kids from education. You're also the morons who lowered the education standards from 70 or 80 for passing to 30, and 40% in your first language graduate. The only people excluding anybody in South Africa from education is the racist ANC. There you go. There you go. So you can say this garbage all you want, ANC spokesperson Mahalenge Bengu Motsiri. You can say it all you want, but it doesn't make it true. It may be Kool-Aid that the illiterate masses drink up because you race hustlers feed that to them, but it doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true. Speaking of the ANC for its 113th birthday, which is in a few days in January, will be holding another big event. But of course, they have no freaking money because it seems like the well is dried up from Tehran, which has bigger problems than funding the ANC now. So the Tehran pipeline apparently is dried up, so the ANC can't afford real venues. So the ANC will hold its 113th anniversary in a place they don't give a crap about, a place where they have no support, where people didn't even vote for them. Where? At a 2,000-seat stadium in Khayelitsha. The ANC can't fill Moses Madiba, can't fill Ellis Park, can't fill DHL Greenpoint Stadium, so they're going to go to Khayelitsha, where there's only 2,000 seats. And they'll have a full house, and they'll crow about it. By the way, somebody needs to tell Fikile Mabalula that that's not a good look. He looks like he's got mold growing on his chin. Either grow a proper beard or don't do it, buddy. The ANC will commemorate its 113th birthday in Khayelitsha on the 11th of January. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mabalula said Mandela Park Stadium in Khayelitsha was the party's first choice. I'm sure it wasn't. Party President Ramaphosa will deliver the ANC's 8 January statement on the day. Wow. The stadium has capacity of an amazing, fully filled 2,000 people. Oh, my goodness. In 2024, it was at Mbombela Stadium in Mpumalanga with a capacity of 43,500, and they couldn't fill that up. Since the ANC lost power in the Western Cape in 2009, it's regressed, gone backwards. This is because they have no money and they're trying to play games. That's the bottom line. They don't have to fly any of the big wigs to the event in Mpumalanga or into Durban or the Eastern Cape because they'll just take them and drive their sorry asses from Cape Town over to Khayelitsha, which is a place most of them never set foot. I guarantee you, I have spent more time in Khayelitsha in a single day during the elections of May 29th than most ANC politicians have their entire lives. Want to take that bet? We'll take it. All right, so they're not buying weapons from us then, huh? England is very aware of the current situation. No, he's not. He doesn't care. He's too busy with our situation. What are you guys talking about? A mob sets fire to the magistrate's court in Cape Town after a prisoner was killed in police custody. This is not how you behave, folks. The entrance to Bishop Lavis Magistrate's Court was on fire Saturday. You can see some smoke damage that came out the window. The entrance to the court in Cape Town was set alight, allegedly by protesters after a man died after being questioned by police earlier that night. The protesters who burned tires close to the court's entrance around 9 p.m. allegedly also broke down the front gate of the property, smashed a few windows, and vandalized the security booth at the entrance. And I highly encourage anybody who knows who's responsible, has video footage or photographs, still photographs, to provide them to the police so that these criminals can be arrested. Mob justice, vigilante justice is unacceptable. Hero worship of murderers is unacceptable in the case of Luigi Mangione here in America. Well, the humble South African Volkskrone, the Fellies, are quite popular around the world. Not just the ones I buy, but a brand being pimped and promoted by Al Jazeera. Now, that's a pair for ladies, but I like the pink. Check out the pink soles and the pink laces on the Volkskrone. Shoes are a reimagination of the centuries-old South African field shoe. In 2016, Nick Dreyer packed up his failing art dealership in Joburg and decided to move to Cape Town. To pass the time in a long drive, he called his old school buddy Ross Zondag, who just happened to be going through a business struggle of his own. Over the next 5 hours, they chatted about everything from the Springboks' dismal performances on the rugby field to the opening ceremony of the Rio Olympics, which had taken place a couple weeks earlier. And they decided that they were going to visit a repurposed fish factory near Cape Town. So they started making these. Here you go. A mock-up, the reimagined Volkskrone shoe, which was designed by a friend and snagged the company's first sales. Yep. There they are. But they're just one of several companies that make them. You guys know about the ones I have. Where are they at? They're not, oh, here we go. So that's just one company. It's not the company that I endorse. The company that I endorse, the company that I wear, of course, is Freedom of Movement from Stellenbosch, formed by two brothers to make Volkskrone. There you go. There's one of my pairs. I've got three or four pairs now. Every trip I'm buying a pair. Yep. There you go. So traditional South African shoes. Freedom of Movement. There's the brand right there. Right there on the side. Of course, these are South African socks too. Anyway, yeah. So great shoes. Fantastic. They're awesome. I like the pink ones, though. Yeah, they're very expensive, Garrett. That's right, because it takes real labor to make them. Not that, slave labor in China sort of thing. Gorgeous, legendary actress Michelle Botz has passed away at the age of just 63. Just 63. Wow. Botz, who was widely known for playing Cherelle de Villiers on SABC's Isadingo, that's a soap I used to watch, a soapy, died at the age of 63 after a long battle with a rare cancer. The news was confirmed by Afrikaans magazine Boys, which interviewed her a few weeks ago. Botz made her screen debut in 76, but was remembered for her roles in Die Zwart Kat, Arenda, Königs, Torings, Isadingo, and her final part in Binnenlanders. Yep, wow. Fellow actor Anton Dekker posted on social media, I just heard the terrible news. Gorgeous Michelle Botz, legendary actress, passed away earlier this morning. Rest in peace, dear Michelle. Yeah, it's unfortunate, sad news there for folks. 63, that's too young. Mozambique is suffering as well from that cyclone that devastated Mayotte and hit Malawi as well. Death toll has now risen to 94 people from Cheeto. Wow. 110,000 homes in Mozambique were destroyed. Good Lord. This is after it whipped Mayotte and Malawi. This is just bad news for them. I thought I was doing myself a favor buying Fellies at a Bohr mark for about $8.50. Turns out the soles were glued on. One started falling off, made in China. Yeah, no, I only buy them from Freedom of Movement, either in malls or preferably when I get to Stellenbosch at the flagship store in Stellenbosch. These are just fantastic. Yeah, proper soles on these. So there you go. Yeah, really good shoes. Real cowhide. These are good things. So the outside's getting a little bit from wear, but the inside, look at that, still crisp and fresh. Okay. Charles says cougar much. Okay. Yeah. You don't want to buy things when they're marked down or cheap. They're obviously frauds. Yeah. The things, they cost a lot to make because they're professionally made. Well, Tanzania, I will do a video on this at some point, which nobody will care about except me and maybe some of my diehard viewers. But I will be doing a video about the abusive behavior of the Tanzanian government towards the Maasai, who they're kicking out of a reserve. Isn't this irony? Black racism against black Africans by a black government. Now, the colonial powers actually established a homeland for the Maasai, millions of acres, that was for them, which was later turned into tourism, and now they want to kick the Maasai out for tourism and for green energy scams. Yep. The safaris and carbon credit projects threatening the Serengeti's Maasai. Tanzania's government is evicting tens of thousands of traditional herders from breathtaking natural habitats. Maasai once herded their cattle across the plains of what is now southern Kenya and northern Tanzania. The British colonial government split off a 2 million acre tract for them to roam undisturbed when it created Tanzania's Serengeti National Park in the 1950s, laying the foundation for the country's modern-day tourism industry. Now Tanzania's government says the Maasai are a problem. The semi-nomadic cattle farmers are a threat to the savannas and watering holes in an area that sustains the country's money-spinning safari projects. Wow. To protect the areas, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the misogynist female president, her government has outlawed human settlement in the Masai Mara and begun evicting some of the more than 110,000 from the Ngorongoro conservation area. Wow. These poor bastards being abused by a black government. That's racist. If the Brits were there doing it, it would be considered racist. So it's racist. Black on black racism. Yep. My dad used to get fellies from Namibia made from kudu. Well, that sounds nice. We lost a dual business couple from RDG here on East Rand. Soul destroying for company, family and friends, CEO, manager. Rick Rex and Brenda Rex. Did they die or hopefully they weren't the victims of crime? Stampedes in Nigeria, it's just becoming a thing, folks. Another stampede, at least 32 people dead in a rush to get Christmas gifts. The death toll from stampedes during 2 Christmas charity events in Nigeria has increased from 13 to 32. The victims include at least 4 children who collapsed during crowd surges as people grew desperate for food items while the country grapples with the worst cost of living crisis in a generation. All brought to you courtesy of Joe Biden. Yep, people are going to die because of Joe Biden all around the world. Didn't start in Afghanistan. Yep, it's all been going on since then. Oh, car accident. Yeah, Debbie, sorry to hear that. Well, the 3-minute Christkindlmark rampage that has shaken Germany. At least 5 people are dead, including a 9-year-old boy in the bizarre attack in Magdeburg. It took an attacker just 3 minutes to kill 5 people and wound over 200 more by ramming an SUV into a crowded holiday market on Friday night, stunning Germany and shattering the peace of its Christkindl season. 7 p.m. on Friday, the market in the eastern city of Magdeburg was packed with families and friends who had gathered under the glow of twinkling lights to celebrate the last workday before the holiday weekend. A 50-year-old Saudi doctor who had been living in Germany for nearly 20 years slowly maneuvered a rented car through a gap in security barriers designed for emergency vehicles, then steered for the heart of the celebration, the old market square. He accelerated, trying to hurt as many people as possible. After maiming hundreds, he aimed to escape through a gap in the other end of the square, but was stopped by police. Wow. Among the victims were a 9-year-old child and 4 adults. More than 200 others were wounded, 41 of them with injuries so severe, authorities have warned the death toll will rise in coming days. Suspect is in police custody. 50-year-old psychiatrist, well-known anti-Islam activist, who seems to have felt increasingly persecuted by Germany, so he decided to murder Germans. And the Germans were perplexed. Why is this happening? Well, I mean, we don't understand. He actually is not Islamist. He hates Islam. He's a Saudi. He fled from there. where there's a warrant for his arrest, by the way. The Saudis wanted him. The Germans have harbored this criminal for years, for 2 decades, and now Germans have paid the price for their stupid immigration policies, letting people who are anathema to your faith. Yes, I know he supported the AfD. Yes, I know he claims he loves Christians. No, this guy's a wackadoodle who never should have been allowed in the country. This is what happens when you have idiotic immigration policies. This is what happens. Hundreds of people have to die. Hundreds of people. When you play the card of victimization and let victims claim they're victims and you don't prosecute criminals, you tolerate this. This is what happens. Yes, Tony Nage, I saw the victim. So this is what happens. After Berlin was attacked with someone driving through at Christkindl Markt in 2016, this is where we are today. The authorities, what have they done? They harass Germans. They harass white Germans. That's what they do. Not people of color who are causing these problems. Not bogus immigrants from the East either. They only go after, I saw them harassing an old German lady and confiscating her Swiss Army knife. And they're all proud of it. Oh, this is a problem. You can't have this. Why? It's a knife. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. She's at a Christkindl Markt. They're selling meat. They're selling cheese. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Sorry. Couldn't help that. Couldn't help that. They're eating the dogs, eating the cats. They're confiscating Swiss Army knives from helpless old ladies, leaving them vulnerable to the scumbags you've let in the country. Unbelievable. Yes, Western Europe is finished. U.S. was almost finished, but we've turned the tide. Canada is gone. It has a remote chance of coming back with Trudeau out and Poilievre taking over, but they have so much work to do to fix Canada. We were on the verge. Several states in this country are gone. California is gone. You can write California off. California, the damage is so grievous, it won't recover in my lifetime. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's overtaxed. It's overregulated. It's overwoke. It is completely broken. They've tried to turn the tide by repealing the idiotic legislation that said, well, you won't be charged with a crime if you steal up to $1,000. But California's gone too. New York, gone, although it's fighting to hang on. Yeah, Germany is toast. Ali and Minar, have a good night. Merry Christmas to you. I'm sorry you're tired. It's a bit later than we usually do it. Yep. 40% children under 5 are foreign origin. Yeah, they are. Yep. You let in fanatics, and this is what you get, Charles. Exactly. Shit, who's going to look after my vehicle's differential and gearboxes? Ha 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 ha. Germans. That's who. Best mechanics in the world. Huge loss. I'm sure you know Rowan Potts, the best friend of us. Okay. Save the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They go for easy targets. Yeah, it's like the RSA government taxis. They don't go down the towns just because they'll piss off the voters. Yep. AFD for Germany, they're not even right. They're center. Exactly. Kamala might be our next governor in California. You're right, scientist. Kamala will be our next governor because California's so broken and so stupid. I mean, Adam Schiff, the biggest freaking liar on the planet, becomes a senator there. He beats an honorable man named Steve Garvey. Wow. Doesn't make any sense. Come get a Bornmeise and be his neighbor. Yeah, well, send me some pictures of the local Bornmeise. Now, I've become much more generous in my appeal as I've gotten older. It used to be a very specific type. Germany's only 68% German. I don't know if that's true, William. There are 83 million people in Germany, so if you're saying that's the case, that would mean only 40 million Germans. I find that number. I think the number of foreigners in Germany is about 8 to 10 million, 8 to 12 million. So so it's a bit higher than that. But yeah. All right, so Gert Heidemann, the man who perpetrated the scam. I was trying to find the right word there. The scam. That's exactly what it was. A scam. Yep. Excuse me. The man who tried to make his magazine huge. Come on. I'm looking for this here. Good Lord. You know, when you're looking for something, you can't find it. And I'm looking for something right now. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there we go. Got it. So Gerd Heidemann, the man who tried to make Stern one of the most popular magazines in Germany with his lies by claiming that he had gotten a hold of the actual Hitler diaries. Remember that scam back in 1983? He's 93 years old. He's died in poverty after becoming a multimillionaire journalist at Stern. In 1983, he put his reputation, and he said he located 62 diaries from Hitler. The scoop of the century turned out to be one of the biggest frauds ever. They were forged. Yep, in his prime, German journalist Gerd Heidemann was a swashbuckling correspondent for Stern, a widely read Hamburg weekly similar to Life magazine. His reportorial sleuthing earned him the moniker Der Spurhund, the Bloodhound. But he came up with a story Even by Bloodhound standards, the story Mr. Heidemann dropped in 1983 was a sensation, a collection of artifacts from the Nazi era. He reported that he had located 62 volumes of Adolf Hitler's diaries, a trove that was supposedly remained hidden away since it was salvaged from the wreckage of a plane crash in the final days of World War II. It splashed all over the headlines all around the world and got him instant fame. But eventually, he was jailed for fraud, went to jail for fraud, as did the actual forger. Yep, a prominent historian, they're all dead now. The forger died about 20 years ago. The historian, Hugh Trevor Roper, a British historian, died 20 years ago. And now, at the age of 93, he has died in poverty. Yep. Hugh Trevor Roper, a prominent scholar of Hitler, was the most noted historian to confirm the authenticity of the diaries. He later reversed himself in a turnabout that tarnished his reputation. But on the basis of that initial verification, and despite doubts expressed by some of his own journalists, media baron Rupert Murdoch ordered the Sunday Times of London to move forward with a breathless report about the diaries. Even Newsweek in America ran the story. Yep, it was all a scam. All a scam. One of the biggest scams of the 20th century. Greece's ruling family, the Glücksburg family from Germany, decides to become Greek to get their citizenship back. Greece's former royal family seeks to reclaim citizenship 50 years after the monarchy was abolished. Members of Greece's royal family have applied for Greek citizenship, formally acknowledging the country's republican system of government in a landmark move 50 years after the monarchy was abolished. The late King Constantine II and his family members were stripped of Greek citizenship in 1994 in a dispute with the government over formerly royal property and over claims that he refused to renounce any right to the Greek throne for his descendants. Interior Minister official Anastasios Balapes said the relatives of the late king, who died last year at the age of 82, signed a declaration Thursday acknowledging the Republican government and adopting the new surname de Grèce. That is French for of Greece. So they will no longer be known as the Glücksburg, the German family from northern Germany, because virtually every monarchy in Eastern Europe was a German family. Yugoslav family, German. Romania, German. Greece, German. All of these families were Germans, and they were implanted on these places. So they've given it up. They were now going to be de Grèce. Lena Schillings, EU candidate, is in the crosshairs. This Austrian climate zealot, this religious lunatic with lovely hair, by the way, very lovely. Mehrere grüne Klimaaktivisten und Freunde berichten vom problematischen Verhalten der grünen EU-Spitzkandidaten, die sogar eine Unterlassungserklärung unterzeichnen müsste. Story from Katharina Mittelstedt und Fabian Schmidt in Der Standard. There she is, Lena Schilling, bei einem Fototermin im Nationalpark Donauauen, für dessen hat sie sich einsetzt. Yes, so this little troll, this little climate zealot, is in the EU at the age of 23, and she's been called out for all kinds of abuse and for being a fraud. At 23, surviving a scandal to take a green seat in EU Parliament, Lena Schilling, the youngest lawmaker in Brussels, faced a harsh questioning of her character and credibility before winning a chance to fight against climate change in the halls of power. There she is. Campaigning for a seat in the European Parliament this spring, Lena Schilling was already facing an uphill battle with her Green Party expected to fare poorly. Then came a devastating takedown by a major news media outlet attacking not her policies but her character. On May 7th, Der Standard, one of Austria's leading newspapers, published an article stating that Ms. Schilling's 23-year-old, whose climate activism had already given her prominent national profile, has a problematic relationship with the truth, plays people off each other, and leaves a scorched earth in her wake. The next morning, she defended herself in a news conference. Werner Kogler, the Austrian vice chancellor and the country's Green Party spokesman, called the article Anonymous Murmurs. Austria's president, Alexander von Bellen, offered his support. But the country's tabloids took to calling Ms. Schilling Lying Lena, Lügnerin. And the controversy crossed international borders with Der Spiegel in Germany giving her the mocking title Gossip Girl. And there she is. But now she's in the European Parliament. I guess she gets the last laugh. Juicy Trudeau is facing massive calls for his resignation amid a cabinet reshuffle. Little Juicy Trudeau, the biggest fraud north of the border. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's chances of staying in power have become more tenuous after opposition party that backed his government for years announced it will vote no confidence in the government when Parliament resumes in January. Wow, Juicy Trudeau's days are numbered, and Donald Trump brings down another leftist. Justin Trudeau, this is from Jagmeet Singh, A prominent opposition leader, Yamit Sanj, that very traditional First Nations Anglo-Saxon French-Canadian name, Yamit Sang, he said Trudeau failed his biggest job as prime minister, to work for the people, not the powerful. The NDP will vote to bring this government down and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. Leader of the New Democratic Party of Canada. 2 million views on that. Trudeau's days are numbered. Hopefully, criminal charges will follow him once he leaves office. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the big news of the day is not the German Christkindlmarkt disaster or even what's happening in South Africa, but rather Donald Trump has threatened to retake the Panama Canal. I love it. It's hilarious. The Trumpster saying we're getting ripped off in the Panama Canal. And he's right. 70% of the traffic through the Panama Canal comes from or terminates at U.S. ports. The traffic is all for the U.S. or from the U.S. And the Panama Canal was built at the expense of, I think, something like 38,000 Americans died building the canal. And then Jimmy Carter gave it back to Panama, whom we purchased land from. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Trump has hinted at China's growing influence around the canal, which connects Atlantic to the Pacific Oceans. He threatens to take back control of the Panama Canal over ridiculous fees. Our Navy and Commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. He posted on social media. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous. U.S. built the canal in 1914 and administered the territory surrounding the passage for decades, but Washington fully handed control of the canal to Panama in 1999 after a period of joint administration. It is solely for Panama to manage, not China or anyone else, he said. We would and will never let it fall into the wrong hands. Wow. The post was an exceedingly rare example of U.S. leaders saying he could push a sovereign country to hand over territory. Well, it was our territory. It was U.S. soil. It was U.S. soil. So the Al Jazeera is dishonest in their fake news reporting. It was U.S. soil, and we gave it back. They are correct factually, but they're morally incorrect. Trump will sue the Biden regime over the sale of border material. President Trump is suing the Biden administration's sale of border wall parts, arguing the act is possibly criminal. Trump's amicus brief, which was filed Thursday, supports motions from Missouri and Texas and a Southern Texas district court to determine whether the federal government breached the court's injunction that prevented the Biden administration from using border wall funding for anything other than the barrier's construction. In his lawsuit, Trump demanded the court immediately stop any ongoing sale of border wall materials until the court could review whether the Biden administration was running afoul of the law. Well, they are running afoul. They're selling this material for 5 cents on the dollar. They are criminals. The criminal Biden regime is doing everything it can to undermine the United States. Well, Joe Biden has signed into law the finance bill to fund the government. So we didn't shut down. I told you we weren't going to shut down. I told people to relax. U.S. President hails the passage of the budget legislation after days of uncertainty and negotiations went down to the wire. As a consequence of Elon Musk and millions of conservative Americans pushing back against this abomination of 1,100 pages of pork barrel bullshit, it was reduced to just 100 pages. I think that's bullshit. It should have been reduced to 2 pages maximum to fund the government. And it should be the actual budget that funds it through the rest of the year, not a temporary measure. Yep. Well, Laura Trump has put the kibosh on herself becoming a senator for Florida to appoint a senator to Marco Rubio's seat. I'm surprised. I don't know why she did this, but I saw the handwriting on the table the other day with Trump's comments at his press conference. The former Republican National Committee co-chair has been considered a contender to replace Rubio upon his confirmation as new Secretary of State, but she is now backing out. Laura Trump, former co-chair of Republican National Committee, announced Saturday she no longer seeks to fill Marco Rubio's seat. After an incredible amount of thought, contemplation, encouragement from so many, I've decided to remove my name from consideration for the United States Senate. Now, Trump had said something the other day, and he said that, I probably don't know. He said, I probably don't, but I don't know. Ron's doing a good job, and it's his choice, nothing to do with me. So that kind of signaled tepid support from Donald Trump for Laura becoming a senator. Not sure why, but it ain't going to happen. Maybe he didn't want the distraction. Well, the United States Navy is getting pretty good at shooting down its own aircraft. Pilots safely ejected from their FA-18 Hornet fighter aircraft after it was hit from fire by a U.S. missile cruiser. 2 U.S. Navy pilots ejected from the jet fighter over the Red Sea after being caught in an apparent case of friendly fire. U.S. Central Command said Sunday that American forces conducted a new round of attacks against Houthi militant group in Yemen. The military said the 2 pilots safely ejected their F-18 after it was hit by a fire from a guided missile cruiser, USS Gettysburg. The jet fighter had flown off the Harry Truman aircraft carrier, and both ships are part of the same strike group. One of the crew members sustained minor injuries, and an investigation is currently underway. So now we're shooting down our own aircraft in the Biden regime. The Navy's become so inept that it can't distinguish between Houthis on ground and U.S. fighter planes returning to aircraft carriers in the Red Sea. Wow. Wow. Been talking about the targeting of U.S. military bases with drones. Here's a partial list of it and a story by the Epoch Times, but it misses out on some of the key attacks. U.S. military bases, sensitive sites targeted by drones for years. They mentioned Lakenheath in the UK, but it's actually 4 bases in the UK and more than just Ramstein in Germany. So here you go. Look at this. Going back to 2019, Camp Pendleton, then Vandenberg Air Force Base. Then you've got Space Command in Colorado. You got Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Wright-Patterson, Ohio. Picatinny Arsenal, New Jersey. Langley Air Force Base. Stewart International Airport, which also has a military purpose. You have the Trump National Golf Course. Joint Base Andrews. Yeah, look at this. Logan International Airport. This is insane what's happening. And nobody cares. Well, people care, but YouTube's keeping them from finding my insightful video, which explains what happens. Well, I've covered this story repeatedly now as the Biden administration tries to blame Americans for the conduct of progressive leftist parties in this country and progressive leftist presidents, administrations over the past century who abused Native Americans and tried to obliterate their culture. And the very fine example of what I'm talking about, the Bella Bill is trying to do in South Africa, obliterate Afrikaans language and culture. That is the intent. That is the whole intent of this. Instead of uplifting Tswana, Xhosa, Venda, Zulu, Nu, Khoi, instead of uplifting all of them and teaching the kids in their first language and teaching English as a second language, they seek to destroy Afrikaans language medium schools. The same thing that leftists in the U.S. government, the progressive movement took Indian children from their parents and put them in schools to teach them to be good little white kids. That's what they did to them for well over a century. And they want us to gnash our teeth about it? I'm not gnashing my teeth about it. I never had anything to do with it. You scumbag leftist Democrats are the ones who did this to this country. You are the ones responsible for this stupid policy. More than 3,100 students died at schools built to crush Native American cultures, says the Washington Post. Yeah, this is Imelda Heavyhair. She died. Now, what they don't tell you here is that most of these children died not from abuse, not from neglect, not from starvation, but from childhood diseases, which were rampant at the time. This is a very misleading narrative. It is correct that the leftists took kids from Native American tribes, put them in schools to teach them to be good Westerners. That's all true, and that's morally wrong. At the same time, it wasn't wrong to introduce them to Western culture because Western culture predominated, and if you want to be successful, many people had to adopt part of that or be part of that society. However, this constant nonsense about how Native American kids were killed in school, that's a lie. It's a misnomer. Very few were actually the victims of abuse, which is what the story goes on to talk about. They mostly died from childhood diseases like scarlet fever, tuberculosis, things like that children were dying everywhere of, including white kids. So Imelda Heavyhair is one of the children who died. She died here at Carlisle Barracks. Imelda Heavyhair has been forcibly removed from her family, the Gros-Ventre tribe, when she was 12 and sent to the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in PA, one of hundreds of institutions operated by the government. She died in 1894, 4 years after arriving, without ever seeing her family again. Now, the 19 of her relatives and others from the Fort Belknap Indian Reservation in Montana, some crying, some praying as they watched her bones being exhumed, had come to take her home. One of thousands of children who died in the custody of the U.S. government during a dark chapter in American history. A year-long investigation by the Washington Compost has documented 3,104 students who died at boarding schools between 1828 and 1970, 3 times as many as reported by the U.S. Interior Department earlier this year. They found more than 800 of those students were buried in cemeteries at or near schools they attended, underscoring how in many cases children's bodies were never sent home to their families or tribes. Well, of course they won't. Civil War soldiers' bodies weren't sent home because they rotted. What the hell is wrong with these people? 1898? People didn't return bodies. We buried our soldiers overseas in overseas cemeteries in the First and Second World War. They weren't brought home. Why in the world, if you lived in Montana, would the body of a child who died in Pennsylvania be shipped back? Today, sure. We can do that today. We fly bodies all over the world. There were no planes to fly people back then. This is stupid. Stupid. Unbelievable. So here is the most common cause of death, according to their research. Tuberculosis, meningitis, typhoid, and other childhood disease, pneumonia, flu. So accidents or injuries. Of the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Native American children put in these schools, 99 died from accident, suicide, or other. 26 drowned. 15 died while running away, and 14 died from poisoning. That's 140 deaths over a century. Yeah. So here's Carlisle Barracks. This is our cemetery where these children are buried in a dignified manner and given gravestones provided free of charge by the U.S. Army. We maintain this grave site right there, undisturbed. The Native American groups keep coming and removing these children, taking them out to the Plain States and to Montana and Idaho, Colorado, and putting them in cemeteries that are in disrepair. And within a few years, these kids' stones will be forgotten. But forever, they're immortalized at this spot. I've gone to the cemetery and paid respect to Native American children who died at the Carlisle School, and they keep taking them away, which is their prerogative. So here's the Carlisle Indian School, and they've got the kids dressed up as good little Westerners with proper Western haircuts, taking away their Native American heritage. And there she is in the white dress on the left-hand side next to the girl in the black dress, Imelda. Heavy hair. Hair not so heavy in the school. On the night of April 13th, 1890, she arrived at Carlisle by train. Her name, heavy hair on side of her head, was soon shortened and anglicized. She was nearly 5 feet tall and weighed 92 pounds. A Carlisle official had removed her from the remote Fort Belknap reservation. Along with her came John Bishop and 19 other children. Once they arrived at Carlisle, the children were taken half a mile to the campus, a former military installation in south central Pennsylvania, once again a military installation, with manicured lawns and tall oak trees. Found 11 years before by the U.S. Army Civil War veteran Richard Henry Pratt, the flagship Indian boarding school's philosophy was to kill the Indian in him and save the man. Pratt's school took children from at least 200 different tribal communities as far away as Alaska. Carlisle became the model for boarding schools nationwide. Native American children were forced to wear uniforms and follow military-like schedules. Some of the children were as young as 5. Others were sent to schools as teens and would stay there until they died as young adults. Of course, Jim Thorpe also graduated from the Carlisle Industrial School, one of the most famous Americans ever. The children experienced extreme loneliness and fear. That I don't doubt. They were beaten up like dogs, says Julia Carroll, an employee for Genoa Indian Industrial School in Nebraska, who testified before a congressional hearing in 1929. I've seen those children beaten up until the blood will flow from their noses. In the first year, Carlisle was in operation. 7 students died. Over the next 38 years, at least 220 would perish, according to Carlisle historians. 220 children. 220 children. Okay? 220 divided by 38 years. That's less than 6 children per year. That's a very low mortality rate. Less than 6 children per year. Die from typhoid fever, measles, whooping cough. Yep. So they're going to blame it on evil. Anyway, yeah, they're just always looking for trouble here. So students, this one's in Nebraska, and it looks very similar to Carlisle. Here you go. Take a look at this. They did to these kids. Boarding schools. Meanwhile, what they don't talk about is that Anglo-Saxons send their kids off to boarding schools and never see them off to military schools by choice. Yeah, and a lot of these children were sent voluntarily. The Department of Education has quietly withdrawn a rule on transgender athletes in school sports. The plan to bar schools on transgender athletes was halted after public feedback and citing ongoing Title IX lawsuits. Yep. Decision halts a rule introduced in April 2023 by the Biden regime that invited public comment on how Title IX should address issues of gender identity in sports. According to the administration, the proposed rule generated over 150,000 public comments ranging from outright opposition to suggestions for modifications. And so the Biden regime will soon be leaving. So the Department of Education, which fears it's going to be disbanded, is backing away from its transgenderism. America's farm recession is here after the glory years in the scamdemic, making tons of money, and then the Russian invasion of Ukraine, raising the prices and pushing inflation. Now farmers are suffering from the very inflation that they contributed to. So one response is sending $30 billion in subsidies to farmers, which is morally bankrupt. In northeastern North Dakota, Greg Edmondson's 3,000-acre farm produced corn, soybeans, canola, and rye. It also produced thousands of dollars in losses. But what they don't talk about is how he raked in the money during the scam at our expense. Future prices for wheat, corn, and soybeans are collapsing at the moment. But funny thing, we don't see price relief in the grocery stores. The farmers are pinched and consumers are pinched because they pay higher for inputs like fuel and seed and fertilizer and material for their tractors and their plows, and we get hit with the high cost. It's all the people in the middle. transporters, the providers, the parts makers, the fuel providers, the refiners, they're making all the money. So the answer is to give these guys subsidies? No. The answer is to go after the ones who are grifting against us. Yep. Donald Trump has picked Catholic. Whoops, what's going on there? Picked Catholic votes Brian Birch to be ambassador to the Vatican. Yep. In the position, Mr. Birch will serve as the top U.S. diplomat to the Vatican. The Holy See is a term referred to in the central government and universal reach of the Catholic Church. The ambassadorship came about after Reagan and Pope John Paul formalized diplomatic relations between the United States and the Vatican in 1984. Mr. Birch is a devout Catholic and loves his church and the United States. Well, I detest your Pope. Get rid of him. Donald Trump has named Mark Burnett, the producer of The Apprentice show, to be a special envoy to the United Kingdom. He'll work to enhance diplomatic relations, focus on areas of mutual interest, including trade and cultural exchanges. Okay. Award-winning British television producer Mark Burnett has been named by President-elect Donald Trump to serve as U.S. Special Envoy to the United Kingdom. With a distinguished career in television production business, Mark brings a unique blend of diplomatic acumen and international recognition to this important role. The Apprentice, which first aired on NBC in 2004, Trump severed ties with NBC in 2015 when he launched his first bid for the White House. Mark Burnett, I think, also is responsible for Survivor, if I'm not mistaken. And there you have it, folks. There is the news for today. Be sure to hit that like button. Almost no likes coming in. Children did grade R. What is grade R? Kindergarten? I keep seeing that grade R. Is it kindergarten? Is that what grade R is? Bill Gates will buy the farms that go bust. Yeah. They are trying to tell us in an Afrikaans school there must be classes created with teachers to teach in other languages. Unaffordable. Well, in Pretoria, there's a school that has Afrikaans and Swana. It affects directly private schooling and homeschooling. Yep. I'm writing an article about that. Hey, Shawnee Gross. Thanks for the thumbs up. Drop in a buck. It says homeschooling will be regulated and grade R will be compulsory. Yep. Afrikaans is the first language in Afrikaans school, so how does it work? They're going to make them teach English, Charles. Yep, grade R is for 5 to 6-year-olds. Well, I started first grade when I was 4. No kindergarten. First grade at 4. Yep. Now, if kindergarten, grade RR, then grade R, then grade 1. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. Yep. Girl volleyball player got hit in the head. Yeah, saw that. Yeah, she was knocked unconscious. Yep, saw her on an interview the other night. Stripping schools of these rights is quite clear an attempt to undermine and destroy Afrikaans. Yes, William, it's not even covert. Still don't think courts will find against it. Yes, you're right. Bella Bill does not say English is to be the main language. It calls for parallel first language learning. Not good, but that's the bottom line. Neville, you can say that, and that may be factually true, but it's not actually what's going to happen. It's not what's going to happen. They're going to destroy Afrikaans for English, a language that only 6% of South Africans speak as a first language. Schools need to ask provincial education departments for permission for even the most trivial things. Yep, that's ridiculous. No, they won't impose it Muslim schools because it'll start riots. Schools don't have control over admissions policy, school fees, language policy. Provincial education department also has to have permission. Yep, exactly, William. That's exactly what's going on. Saying English must be taught as the main language in all schools, regardless of being an Afrikaans-speaking school. So we have 33% pass rate. Now we only have to pass English. No, Debbie, the bill does not exclude Afrikaans from school. It does not. Schools can be taught in Afrikaans, but the official, do you think that Panyazi Lesufi is going to tolerate Afrikaans language schools in Gauteng? Pretoria School for Girls, get ready. Get ready. Oh, the Waterkloof Hoër School, you're all going to be forced to teach English. Yep. Surprised this government is not shutting down. Are the members now accepting Biden's signature? SpongeBob. Camp Pendleton is in many movies. Yes, it is. You see, it's growing by the day. We're up to 52 states. I think Laura's going to be in the press secretary. Okay. Is that what you guys think? Preschool reception. Okay. Yeah, we don't have reception here. That's some UK thing. Reception. Preschool. That's something we understand. Yep. Preschool? I mean, preschool is not necessary. It's for parents to dump their kids who don't want to watch their kids or have to work. Asking for a riot, as you know, the EFF and Juju are going to milk the Bella Bill. Yep. Spend a ton of time, effort, and money to work in the USA and my kids to go to Afrikaans schools. If they're not given the same level of education, South Africans suck it. Yep. Forgot about 1976. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't forget about that. But I think the ANC has. Yep. Well, and, Sharpeville, part of that was about language too. But 76, yeah, Soweto, 76, 85, 85, 85, the country nearly collapsed. And that's what pushed the National Party towards, giving up power, is what happened in 85. Yep. Yep, irony, forgot. Yeah, they definitely forgot about it, Hendo. Yep. Let me just check on something here real quick. The Colts are winning against the Titans. There's a shocker. Meerkat says, if you could start school 3 years, you probably would have. Maybe, I don't know. I might have. The irony is that I didn't think I was very bright, I didn't think I was very bright, but it had a lot to do with the fact that I constantly moved and was constantly being introduced to the same curriculum, or a curriculum that was beyond what I'd done, or learning what I already learned, so I didn't really advance. No, I was an average writer at best. Average, not a very good writer when I graduated high school. In fact, I still had, I wonder if I have it somewhere, I had a paper that I wrote about the Confederate States of America when I was in high school. I think when I was a junior in high school, maybe been a senior. Yeah, my handwriting wasn't very good, and my conclusions were terrible. It was okay. It was okay, but for high school. But I look at it now, and my writing is so much better, clearer, concise, to the point, on the money, insightful, and But then that came. I taught myself to be a great writer. The one thing I did get was two things really helped me with my writing ability and my vocabulary, which seems to be escaping me now in my old age. Having a hard time remembering words. But the two things that really made a difference for me were having English as a junior in high school, and every week our teacher forced us to learn 50 new vocabulary words. Words like reticent. And so I'll never forget them. Every week I had to learn it, and it was like a competition. I think we got like a little star or something for doing well. But I learned 50 new advanced vocabulary words every week, whether I liked it or not, throughout that junior year. And we studied English literature. It was amazing. My senior year, we did American literature, which wasn't nearly as interesting to me as English literature. So that junior year in high school, and then when I was a senior at university, as a history student, I had to take a historical research and writing class by Professor Baxter. Let me see if that guy is, he must be, if he's around, he's old. Let me see. Baxter. Part A. Let me see if I can find him. Retired history factor. Okay, there's Fletcher. I know him. Douglas Baxter. Yep, Douglas Baxter. Let me see if I can find him. Professor. Ohio University. Okay. Rate my professors. There's any images of this guy. None of those are him. There's pictures of a guy, but is that him there? There he is. Is that him? I'm trying to see. Ohio University Magazine. Fall 2021. Looking for the story. President Ping. Dean Sherman, that's not him. Still looking here. Still looking. A lot of freaking pages in this. I don't remember getting this magazine. He didn't pass away, did he? Faculty and staff. No, he didn't pass away, thankfully. Or did he? Are they alphabetical? They're alphabetical. No. Okay, so I don't know how wide is in this magazine. Last word. No, nothing in there. Anyway, so yeah. Douglas Baxter. So because of him, he was a fantastic, only class I ever had with Baxter, because he taught history that I didn't cover. But he did fantastic research, historical research and writing. It was one of the best classes I ever had in my life. Used to be in nursery schools, now grade R. Okay, I love reading lips. Dirty Sanchez. Okay, wow, that makes things a whole lot worse. What? Learn to read lips when you're younger. Head of hair for an older fellow. What? Dirty Sanchez, grow up. cross the border unhappy. Yeah, well, unhappy for a lot of reasons. They're criminalizing parents when their kids are truant. That's not, that's not a good story. Okay. Dirty Sanchez says sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. That's why people cross the border unhappy. Yep. French in Canada, 5 years. What about French in Canada? Oh, Dirty Sanchez started out by saying best wishes to me. Well, best wishes to you, Dirty Sanchez. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm in school, especially in other languages. So, Neville says, I agree with Afrikaans schools getting destroyed because the other languages will be bussed in to become majority language, was stating how the bill is written. Huh? I don't understand that. William says, what do you think the most likely outcome in long term? Will Afrikaans civil society groups start building low-cost private? I think that the bill, if I understand it, the way it's written in the law, it affects private schooling as well. Yeah, I think that's the issue. They're forcing private schools to be controlled not by their school boards, but by the government. And so that's the crux of one of the things I'm saying. So let me see if I can find this in my article, okay? Okay, given the abysmal state of education and deterioration of standards over the past 3 decades, South Africa certainly, this is a rough draft, certainly does need a new direction in education. Under the guise of equity and transformation, the African National Congress has managed to dramatically worsen educational outcomes, especially for black South Africans. Handing over even more control of education to the failed ANC is not only foolhardy, but it will also achieve exactly the opposite of what the ANC claims it will. An objective observer should ask why the ANC built only a single public school in the most recent fiscal year, when as recently as 2015 they built 100 schools nationwide. Or one might ask why 30 years after the ANC took over governance, there are still over 4,000 schools without flush toilets, only pit latrines. Why does the ANC refuse to uphold academic standards, choosing to lower passing marks to the ludicrously low level, ludicrously low level of just 30% for 3 subjects and 40% in a learner's mother tongue? Or we can ask the ANC why they fail to teach most South Africans in their first language. Yep. The ANC claims that changes in the Bella are necessary to transform the education system and address continued inequities. I'd argue that ending ANC kleptocratic practices and intentional neglect will do far more to address inequality than Bella ever will. While civil society groups like AfriForum and its parent, the trade union Solidarity, have focused on sections 4 and 5, which regulate languages of instruction in school and school admissions policies, all South Africans should be concerned about the entirety of the new law. It is yet another example of government overreach. Transformation in education under the African National Congress has played out thus far as an all-out assault on the Afrikaans language and expulsion of qualified educators, largely because they lack sufficient skin pigmentation to satisfy the powers that be in the ANC government. So it's understandable that AfriForum is focused on sections 4 and 5, which are clearly intended to flood Afrikaans medium schools with non-Afrikaans learners to achieve majorities with the end goal of transforming Afrikaans language schooling into, ironically, English medium schools. The ANC and Rise Mzansi can claim all they like that this is not the case, but this transformation has already occurred across South Africa's universities, where even the iconic Afrikaans institution, Stellenbosch University, is no longer a place for where Afrikaners are welcome. Stellenbosch, where the land was granted in perpetuity on the proviso that Afrikaans would be the language of instruction, is openly hostile to Afrikaans speakers. Bella modifies to anyways, that's my draft so far. What do you guys think of that so far? I mean, that's not the whole thing. I just read sections of it, portions of it. That's an article I want to put out. Okay? Yep. Article that I'm going to put out there. So what do you think so far? England is now for us. They want what they were for you in 1799. You mean 1776. Afrikaans is a scientific language. None of the ethnic languages are so can read, fully educate. England don't want schools to have cake and eat it. Huh? Schools in name only. Yeah, checklist oriented. Wow, this is depressing, says William. Stellenbosch is a fraudulent tax people out mafia. No matter how you look at it, even the ex-major used to sleep around. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Meerkat likes it. Okay. I think you will be on the right track, and hopefully some eyes will be open. Yeah, I hope so too, Levin. I hope so. I've just got to put some more into it and clean up a little bit more, put some more factual data from sources in there. Becoming ridiculous. Why bother going to school if they make so easy for them? It's 30% pass rate, not 33%. Yep. There's no point. The point is it's just checking the block. We've sent our children to school. Or it's just, nursery school. It's just, babysitting for your children. That's what it is. That's the purpose of school. It's not to educate them. It's not. School should, when a child leaves high school, they should have become literate in their own language and in a second language, ideally. In South Africa, definitely second language. America would be nice, but it's not necessary. And they should also have some ability to do critical thinking. If they want to become a more serious critical thinker, they should go to university. Yeah. Stan March says your article punches on the nose, eager to read the final version. Okay, cool beans. Yeah, it'll be on my Substack channel, and it'll also be on, hopefully published by a South African site, which I'm drawing a blank. What is the website that the Institute for Race Relations publishes? God bless it. I've been published there before. No. Institute for Race Relations. What is their damn... Oh, God bless, I'm drawing a blank there. Yeah, I'm calling exactly what it is, which the DA is too cowardly to do. Well, I'm not South African, so I can get away with that. Man. What are the articles I've written? I'm just drawing a blank here. Publications. Where are the publications done at? Not Dear SA. No, I can't think of it. I'm drawing a blank here, man. What's the articles that I've had published there? Let me go to Substack, and then I'll know which one it is. So Substack. Okay. Actually, that didn't work. There we go. Found mine. Okay. Newsletter. Hillbilly Elegy. Friend or foe. That's it is. God bless it. Friend or foe. See if I can find that on Google. Man, senior moments are not helpful here. Okay. Where's it at? Why can't I find this? Okay, is that not the one? Okay. Friend or foe. Nah. I can't find it. Anyway, I can't find it. Oh, well, I can't remember now. I'll have to look at my email. Senior moments, man. That suck. All right, we're losing voodoo. Oh, we got folks here. Cool. German teacher used to lesen und schreiben ist die erste Kulturstufe. It is, to read and write. Single thing that works, Nancy. Nope, there's nothing that works that they haven't destroyed. Look at your chat. What chat? What chat? Okay. Anyway, gosh bless it. When I was at June. Okay, that's when it is. My article in June, that's what I'll do. Hang on a second. I know how to do this. I'll go back to June because I'll find out who I sent it to. Man, I can't believe it. This is becoming problematic here. Oops, I just opened Opera by mistake. I didn't want Opera open. Close Opera. Quit Opera. Opera won't close. Oh, man, that's frustrating. That is an annoying tendency of Opera. That's why I stopped using it. It doesn't respond properly. So Opera, where are you at? There it is. End task. There we go. Got rid of it. Okay, so now let me get to my mail. That might be one way to find this. Where is my email? There we go. Email. Go back to June. Sent folder. See, I have to go back to June. Wade through all the stuff. November, October, September. It was May. Come on. August. Good Lord. I send a lot of mail, don't I? July. May. Here we go. I sent this article. Oh, where's it at? Come on. I send this thing. Where'd it go? May 26th. It's about the election. Oh, the Daily Friend. That's something. Daily Friend. Good Lord. Finally, that's who it was. Daily Friend. That's the one. Daily Friend. Good Lord. That's the IRR owns it, don't they? The Daily Friend. Man. Daily Friend South Africa. That's it. That's the one. Yeah, so let me get to the website and look them up. Here you go. So I've been on there. Let's see. So let's look for Wyatt. Okay. 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 That didn't help. Let's do a search here again. Unless they took my articles off. Okay. Let's search. That's me on there. Where's my articles at? Huh. Where the hell is it at? That's interesting. Wow. Did they take my stuff off? Huh. That's interesting. Wow. That's very disturbing. Let's try to go back. Where's this? December. I'll try back a few pages here. Okay. November. I had stories on here, so why is it not staff writers? These are all staff writers. All their stories are staff writers now. What happened to my stories? Staff writer, staff writer. Wow. This is crazy. Yeah, the Daily Friend published my stuff. They published it on Election Day. I'm trying to get back to that article. November. I can't. Jesus, come on. Why is it not giving me what I'm searching for? That's crazy. Let me do this here. I'll do a Google search. Probably better than their website. Daily Friend. Okay. All right. There we go. Found it. Daily Friend. Yeah, okay. 2 articles published for me. So there we go. Chris Wyatt, Daily Friend. Here you go. So if you want the link, so my articles come up on there. Where the hell am I at? There we go. Live streaming. Here you go. Paste. Okay, so autocrats, not Democrats. That was in July, and then I did one in May, friend or foe. There you go. On Election Day, they got published. Yep. There you go. There you go. Anyway, there you go. So, yeah, that's the one. So, wow, geez, my goodness, it took me a while. That must be the one getting the 30% passing rate. I can't remember anything. Okay, it's like 1910. The Brits took over. They hate Coliseum, like Union. At least I'll be leaving South Africa. My mom passes. Won't have to live through ANC crap. Sorry to hear that. A lot of government schools had offered, what's this? I did offer cons and maths and biology, French. When I was at school, there was no subject choice. Pass rate was 60%, language pass rate was 70%. When I went to school, 70% was pass rate every school I ever went to. Never heard anything less than 70%. But 70% was a D minus. They might let you get like the 65% for D minus, but usually 75 was D, 70 was a D minus, 75 plus 79 was a D plus, that sort of thing. And C, B, and A. It's wrong to get rid of Afrikaans, but remember, as a young child, black schools under apartheid government were forced to be taught in Afrikaans. They burnt the books. Yeah, Sue, that's true, but that's because it was an official language in South Africa, and they didn't have rights to be taught in your first language. Now they do, and they're undermining it, and you're going to push people in English. Pass rate of 40%, but you had to pass English and Afrikaans. That's insane, Charles. 40 is not passing. Think about this. 10 questions. You get 6 of them wrong. See, I can't even get it right. There's 6. You get 6 wrong. So you only get 4 right. You get 6 wrong. 4 right. 6 wrong. That's more wrong than right. And you're going to build a bridge. You're going to do open heart surgery. You're going to be a chemist. You're going to mix explosives for mines. No. Well, they were recognized. That's not true, Charles. They were recognized in Bophuthatswana, in Ciskei, in Venda, Transkei. They were all recognized. Yep. 40% is in the same pass rate. I just don't buy that for a heartbeat. Not even for a heartbeat. So crazy. Yep. Sue says true. See? They were recognized. Yep. Just not where you're thinking of. So anyway, the Daily Friend. Wow. That took me a while to get that out of my head. Anyway, wow. Too many crickets. Thank goodness for my sent folder. I found it there. Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I've meant to send them a couple articles, but I'm going to definitely do an article on the Bella bill. So, yep, I'll see if they publish it. My other bills were, my other stories were about, let me see, were about USA. So they let me publish them. This will be a South African one. So, Muckruck. What's this? What's Muckruck? This is not me. Interesting. This is everybody with the name Chris Wyatt. This is not me. Patterdale Hall Diaries. Oh, Muckrack. What's that? I get the wrong one. Let's see. Software built for how you work. What that is. Create and showcase your portfolio. Somebody put my articles on their website. Anyway. Well, that's why I was looking in the wrong place. It's not news, it's opinions. The Daily Friend. Yep, I should have been looking there. So if I go back 3 pages, that takes me back to still December, the new sheriff of the Democratic Order. Anyway, yep. So we had 45% pass rate, but then I give you uni entrance. For uni, you had to have 65. 65, that's insane. It's insane. Is this also an attempt to basically rid the country of majority white schools? Yes, it is, William. And under the guise that, well, black students should be treated unfairly because they can't attend white schools. They're not white schools. They're private schools, and if you can pay, you can get in if you speak the language. Yep. If you got less than 85% of subject, my dad would be waiting. Exactly, Neville. Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. No, I wasn't a particularly good student, but I've told people that in high school because I moved around a lot before high school and I struggled. And I finally found school interesting in high school, but I was busy milking cows and baling hay. And that was there aren't a lot of Afrikaans schools left. There's only 10% of public schools are Afrikaans medium schools, and they're trying to get rid of them. Yep. And they're trying to, ironically, put them in English. So they can't make the argument that they're switching colonial language, because Afrikaans is not a colonial language. Afrikaans is an African language, first spoken by slaves and house slaves in Cape Town. So anyway, the Western Cape. So all right, folks, that's going to do it here. I'm going to write an article, hopefully for a local paper, about drones, and I'm going to keep working on this article here for the Daily Friend. Hopefully they'll run my article. So in Germany, you need a post-matric to get in university. Yeah, I know how Germany works. Yep, you got to do the Abitur. University entrance letter. Canada rejected it because I didn't speak French yet. Were you going to go to French university? Yeah, there were 400 kids in co-ed and not many teachers. They did the best they could. Parents were strict. We passed and did sports too. Uni had higher percentage requirements. They often turned down people after cutoff. These days, race is included. Yeah, I know. I feel really black. What's this? William says, I don't know what black-filled means about this. There's a chance of finding it. Black-pilled, okay. Realistically, is there a chance? Yes. If the courts aren't captured, it's unconstitutional. It violates the South African Constitution. And I'll talk about that in my article as well. So, yep. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully you guys will read it. And hopefully you go check it out and check out my Substack as well. I gave you the link to my Substack, didn't I? Yep. I think I did. Let me see. Substack. No, I don't think I gave you that. Substack, Colonel Chris Wyatt. There we go. Let me give you that. Okay. So here's the link there for my Substack. Check it out. Please become a subscriber. I don't post very often there, but I probably should do it more, but it just takes time to, I got to sit down and write, and I've been so busy. I'm always so busy doing this, that, and the other. So anyway, Daily Friend. That's who I need to send that to. Anyway. All right. Cool beans. All right, guys. Merry Christmas. I'll be back tomorrow. Done with the rugby until maybe Thursday, but I'll be back tomorrow, and we will be closer to Christmas. I haven't done any invites to anybody, so I won't have any speakers on Christmas Day, because after last year, the only person showed up was Dr. Hammond, so which is great. Love Dr. Hammond, but no one else showed up, so I'm not going to bother with it this year. All right, guys, Merry Christmas. What is Substack? Substack is a publishing site, so go check out my Substack, and then you'll find out. Go check it out, and you'll find out. So on Substack, what do I have on there? Let me see where it's at. Where's the Substack at? There it is. On Substack, 64 subscribers. I have an article about J.D. Vance. I have an article about ANC shaking down Shell, friend or foe, the one that was also published on the Daily Friend. an article, South Africa, Gaza, Israel, in the International Court of Justice. And then Lunatics Are Running the Asylum. I have that one from last year. Don't post that. Films and Production Board does not approve. That was from 2022. In 2022, I have Biden's weakness undermines global security. And then Defeat the Mandates Rally draws 20,000 protests to D.C. I did that one as well. And then South African Land and Poverty. Okay, so I started this in January 2022. I wasn't really a believer in Substack, but then I started doing it. Hugo Kruger also has a Substack, yep. All right, that's it. Merry Christmas, guys. Take care of yourself. God bless. And I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Be sure to hit the like button. We didn't even get to 100 this time. All right, cheers. Bye-bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.